Impromptu video about COVID, coronavirus. So this coronavirus pandemic has officially lasted longer than I was expecting. My guess was, and this was just my guess, obviously I'm not an expert on these things, but my guess was this would last between 2 and 4 months or so. It has now just gone over 4 months, and I look at this more as an international problem because in my logistical day-to-day life, I'm fine. But internationally, most countries of the world still have their borders shut off to tourists or shut off to visitors, with exceptions. So what does this mean? How much longer will this go? We don't know. So that's the first. Let me start with that. We don't know how much longer this is going to be. This could all be over, or more or less be over, in a month and a half. It could be. It could. This could go on for another 6 months. I don't think so, but it's possible. And as I said back in March when this started, even if you have a good reason, if you lock people down for months and months and months on end, particularly Americans, they're going to go crazy, which is exactly what happened when they locked America down. So you have two aspects to this. How long will it be, and how long will people put up with it? Especially people in more crazy countries like America, like Brazil, places like that. So, based on the discussions I've had with people and the observations I've had and people I've talked to in my personal life, people I've talked to, some of you guys I've talked to online, most men fall into one of three categories with this coronavirus stuff. Number one are you guys who are in big trouble. Those are you guys who don't have a job. You've lost your job. You're about to lose your job. You can't pay your rent. You have no money in savings. You haven't had sex in 6 months, or what have you. You've got major, serious problems. That's the first category. Second category are guys who are more or less okay. You can take care of yourself. You're able to pay your bills. You're able to stay afloat, but you have lots of problems. Particularly you guys who have your own small business, non-Alpha 2.0 businesses, where you're making enough money to pay your bills, but you're having all kinds of problems and all kinds of chaos in your business. A lot of your customers aren't there anymore. You've had to modify things in your business, and so on. Third category would be guys like me, guys who are fine. Guys who have no real problems, or if you do have any problems, they're minor inconveniences. The only problems I've had throughout this process are my 5 flag stuff. This coronavirus thing has really caused a lot of problems with my 5 flags plan, with me moving out of the country next year, residencies and travel permits, passports, banking. It's been a nightmare. So I haven't been able to travel internationally for many months now. So I've had to travel to a lot of banks, travel with my car. That's why I still have my car. I was going to sell this car, but coronavirus changed all that, at least for the time being. So I've had to spend a lot of time driving around to different banks, many of whom are closed or open 1 or 2 days a week. Not so much anymore. It's a lot better now, but I've had inconveniences, but I've been okay. So let me rewind. If you're in that first category of guys, you've got major problems. You can't pay your bills. I mean, you can't pay your rent. You're in deep shit. You guys need to stop worrying about Alpha 2.0 business, stop worrying about online dating, and get your head above water. Get a job. Get a second job if you need to. Move in with a roommate. Change locations. Bring a roommate in or go move in with a roommate. In other words, get your head above water before you start focusing hardcore on Alpha 2.0 stuff. I've gotten some questions from some guys who are like, hey man, I just lost my job because of coronavirus. I can't pay my bills. I have no money in savings. What Alpha 2.0 business should I start? No, you don't want to start a business right now. Get a job and pay your bills. Get to a baseline. Once you're at a baseline for a few months and you can breathe, then go ahead and start your Alpha 2.0 business. Then hit up the chicks if you want. Do it at that time. But if you're in a moment of hardcore crisis, this is not the time to start a business for you. It's not. Although this is a good time to start an Alpha 2.0 business in terms of coronavirus and various other reasons I've talked about in prior videos. It's not the time for you if you're in that first category. Get your head above water first, then focus on your Alpha 2.0 stuff. It might take you 2 or 3 months to do that. I know it's really hard to find a job right now. Believe me, I know. I personally know several people who have been working very hard trying to find jobs. So what you need to do is boost your activity levels and sublimate your ego. You may have to work at Starbucks or something like that for a while. As I've said many times before, I've said this a lot, it's better to have a shitty job than to have no job. If you need to get a shitty job for a while, go ahead and get a shitty job. When I was a very young man, we had a recession in the early 90s. That's when all the outsourcing started. I couldn't find any good jobs. So for a while, I had to work at a data entry place where I literally had one hand on a temp type key and my other hand I just would pass papers. And I just did this all day. All day, 8 hours a day. This is all I did, 8 hours a day. You think that was a great job? No, but I had to do it. So if you need to get a shitty job for a while to get your bills paid, go ahead and do that. Don't have an ego about this. I don't care if you have a college degree. I don't care if you're smart. Get a shitty job, pay your bills. Okay, that's you guys, the first category. You guys, the second category, where you're okay, but you're having a lot of problems, particularly you guys who own non-Alpha 2.0 businesses, you got to do two things. One is you got to be more creative. You have to adjust. You got to be flexible. Change your business approaches, change your marketing techniques, change aspects of the market, change how you operate in your company. You've got to make some radical changes in order to make sure you get through this with your business. A lot of guys are not as lucky as you. A lot of guys in certain industries like the travel industry don't have businesses anymore. They're basically fucked. Guys who own restaurants don't have businesses anymore. They're screwed. So count yourself lucky, but you've got to be flexible and change your approach. Very important. Number two, you need to double your work hours. You need to work a lot harder than you've been working. The standard amount of hours in terms of if you're in category 2 here, we're having lots of problems, ain't gonna cut it. Primarily because we don't know how much longer this is gonna last. This could be another 6 months, for fuck's sake. I hope not. I don't think so, but it could. So you might be okay now. Are you gonna be okay in 6 months? I don't know. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Hopefully you will. So double your output. I've said this before. This year, from January 1st to now, I have worked more hours in the last 6 months, actually 7 months, right? End of July, right? In the last 7 months than any 7-month period in my entire life. And that's even factoring in the fact that I now take Sundays off. And this was pre-coronavirus, a decision I made way back late last year. So I am blowing my brains out with work. That's one of the reasons I've been okay. One of the big reasons I've been okay is because I've upped my work hours. And again, don't say, well, I shouldn't have to do that. It's not fair. Life isn't fair. Covered that in a prior video. So get that done. You guys who are in my category, you guys are doing fine. You guys are okay, and you have minor inconveniences. Stay vigilant. Things can change in your business. Things can change in the marketplace. Things can change with coronavirus. Don't get complacent. Don't say, well, hey, we're good. We're covered. No problem. That's fine. And I'm proud of you, and or you're lucky, one of the two. Good, but stay vigilant. Stay watchful. I'm just fine. But I am busting my ass because I don't want any new changes to come along and screw up my life further or screw up my life in some ways that I wasn't planning on. We are in uncharted waters right now. This is something that has never happened in modern history in terms of the severity of the pandemic. We've had worse pandemics like this, but in none of our lifetimes. So we don't know how long this is going to last, and we don't know what new problems may occur. Maybe it'll be fine. I think likely it'll be fine. I tend to be an optimist about these kind of things. Likely it'll probably be fine. Short term. Long term, the Western world is fucked. Different topic for another time. But stay vigilant and stay on top of things. Be aware of things. Keep working. Don't take this for granted just because you're not having any problems right now. Unless you are extraordinarily wealthy. If you're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, then great. Go to the beach and have relax. That's fine. But if you're not in that category, but you're okay, keep watch. Don't get lazy. Don't get stupid. I hope this has helped. I will see you guys in the next video. Remain positive about this stuff and stay focused on your big, big goals. When times are tough, when you're having problems, that's when you lean into your mission and lean into your big goals. I have been reviewing my mission and my goals, my long-term goals, mid-term goals, short-term goals, more in the last 7 months than I ever have before. And that's saying a lot because I hit my goals hard. Lean into that stuff. It'll be okay. Stick with it. I'll see you soon. Bye.